talking about Disney. So The Little Mermaid is the latest in a long line of things where Disney are essentially looking at the back catalogs and saying, was it a cartoon that we made? Yes. Was it a hit? Yes. We will remake it in live action. We will, and it's almost kind of like well, it's not minimum work, but it's a lot less work than coming up with something original for loads of money. Because I don't think that there has been one of these that they have made that hasn't made a lot of money. I think the first one they did was Cinderella. They did it with the Jungle Book. They've done a Peter Pan one. They've done the Lady and the Lady and the Tramp. They did the Lady and the Tramp. That's on, but that's only on Disney Plus. They
Beauty and the
did the
Beast,
they did Beauty and the Beast, The Lion
Aladdin.
King, Aladdin. Oh yeah, they did Aladdin. So they've been going through all these, and they have been doing their best to just milk all these things. And a lot of these, so I think Aladdin made $1 billion, which when you think about it, and for my money, of all the ones that they have made in the cinema, of the ones that they have made live action or live action in inverted commas, the only one that has really worked and has really justified its existence was the Jungle Book. Because I think that the Jungle Book, the way they did it, it actually added something to the original story. It was a bit better. It was a bit, and now they've come to the Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid, which is, I was okay. While I was watching this, I had to sort of just come to the conclusion. I was like, you know what? I think the Little Mermaid has pound for pound the best songbook of any Disney movie, because the four songs I can think of were "Part of Your World," "Poor Unfortunate Souls," "Under the Sea," and "Kiss the Girl." All of them bangers. All of them died in the wall bangers, and I was like, okay,
I
great
only know
songbook.
one of those.
Oh, all right, but it's and so they've done this, and and in typical Disney fashion, the story hasn't really changed. They've just added faff to it. They've added fluff to it. They've added it out, and there's and the first half an hour, 45 minutes of this film, I was just sitting there going, okay, cool, and I just kept going, what is the point? What is the point? Why did you do this? What is the point? The good things about it, the headline grabbing thing was that they cast Haley Bailey, who is a black musician, as Ariel. So they have a black Ariel, because obviously when you look through the Disney's pack catalog, there is not much of diversity in there. So they cast it in there, and obviously there was a big, massive uproar, and the people who are using the hashtag Not My Ariel on Twitter and everything like that, and saying, "How dare you? This is not showing any respect to the original story and everything." And I was like, "Look, Disney never paid respect." And never mind. I'm not going to get into that. So Haley Bailey is good. Haley Bailey in the film is good. That's not the problem of the film. One of the big problems, I think, is that when Disney are making live action versions of these things, they need to lean into the fact that what they are making is a live action cartoon. That's what they're making, a live action cartoon, and they need to stop trying to go for the realism. Because Flounder is this cute little yellow thing. Yeah, I know. Holly has a hand on her heart now, because just thinking about Flounder. Flounder is the cutest thing in the original. Now they just made Flounder a fish, a weird looking fish that talks. And as such, Flounder isn't cute. Flounder's a fish. And Sebastian is a crab. And Sebastian in the original, I always used to go, he's a crab. He looked more like a lobster, if you asked me.
Yeah.
He looked more like a lobster, but because of that, because they had these things, they could make them cute, they could make them expressive, but now this is a fish. When was the last time you saw a fish express anything?
It's literally
Yeah,
no
a,
expressions. It's the
a
thing about
fish, fish don't have expressions, apart from when they're spawning their eggs. I saw a sort of David Attenborough style documentary. It's actually quite funny, but never mind.
sharks. Sharks
Well,
sometimes have expressions.
yeah, and so the
Flounder, I assume, is not suddenly a shark.
Flounder is not a shark. Flounder is not a shark. Sebastian looks more like a crab. And there's things that they do, like you have David Diggs, who's doing the voice of Sebastian this time round. And I don't know if, okay, Sharon, I know it's animation, so you don't care. But Holly, you know the original Little Mermaid. And there's some line delivery in Little Mermaid that for me is perfect. It is boom. That's it. You don't even go near that. And because I know Little Mermaid that well, I kept waiting for the line delivery of lines like, Ariel, Ariel, somebody ought to nail that girl's fins to the floor. Or somebody ought to nail that girl's fins to the floor. And waiting for the line delivery of that. And when they do it in the film, you're like, no, wrong intonation and all that. And for the first bit of the film, Sebastian, he's like an exposition machine, and they have him just sort of always scuttling along and just talking to himself and everything. And they're adding all these ad libs and stuff that don't work, which you can see that somebody thought was funny. They are not funny. Thankfully, the film improves when they get out of the water, because if anybody knows the story of the Little Mermaid, she makes a deal with the sea witch, and in this one, because I think I'm going to blame Fast and Furious for this. They have to, apparently in any film they have, everybody has to be released to everybody. So Ursula is no longer just a sea witch. Ursula is actually King Triton's older sister. Oh, and so she's sister, and there's a family thing going in there that it doesn't. I'm like, why do you have to put that in there? That doesn't do anything to the story. So she makes a deal with the sea witch so that she can go on onto the land, and she can have legs, and she can have a chance of meeting this guy who she's fallen in love with when she saved him from a shipwreck, but she loses her voice, that sort of stuff. When they get out of the water, the film improves. Because when they're in the water, everything is just, this is not as good. This is not as good as the cartoon. The fish look weird. They don't emote. Why is there a shark in there? It's like you just flew in a scene from Finding Nemo and plunked it in a Little Mermaid. That doesn't add anything to it. And the big musical number, Holly, what's the big musical number in the Little Mermaid?
Oh, it's part of your world. Probably, or Under the Sea.
Under the sea. Yeah, Under the Sea. I think part of your world is it's good, but Under the Sea is the
that's the first
one.
thing that comes to mind.
That's the one someone like me would know, because I don't know anything about it.
Yes,
I know that one.
Yeah, and because
it's joyous.
It is joyous. That is the thing. It is joyous. The same way like the just can't wait to be king in The Lion King. Joyous. Same problem with the Lion King live action remake. These animals are not that expressive, therefore the joy gets leached out of that number. And it just seems like by the book, it's like animal, run here, animal, go there, animal, do this, animal, do that. And Under the Sea in this is stripped of its joy, is stripped of its color, is stripped of its acrobatics, because they used to have these things like a sort of almost like a Bubsy Berkeley kind of thing with it's stripped of it all. And but anyway, so I was happy when they got out of the water. When they got out of the water, things got better. And then you could see that some of the things they added, like they've made the island very, very obviously a Caribbean island, which all of a sudden makes Sebastian's accent make a heck of a lot more sense. So they've made the and there's bits outside of the water that make that, I think, they fleshed out a little bit there that works a little bit. Even though they have this weird thing where the prince is white, the queen is black, and they have this whole thing about the prince being adopted by the queen. But even though there is a Caribbean accent, the queen speaks with an English accent. It's all messed up. Okay, it's all messed up. It's all messed up. It's not consistent. But when they get out of the water, it gets a little bit better. There's some good things in it. Like I would say, Aquafina shows up as the voice of Scuttle. That's cool. They change one line in the song "Kiss the Girl," which when I heard it, I was like, "How you change that line?" And I thought about it, and I was like, actually, that was a very good idea that you changed that line.
One of those.
I was like, I never thought about it beforehand, but yeah, there are some issues, especially now that we all know about consent and stuff. Yeah, it's it's a lot better. It's a good idea you change that line. So all in all, I don't think I can give this more than a 3 out of 4. There's some things that they do where they try and make it a bit more. They try and make it but obviously with everything now, they try and make it a bit more there's a bit more of a feminist bent, and they try and give the female characters a bit more agency in it. The way the film ends, there's something that they do at the end, which I kind of saw coming. I was like, they're going to change that. Sure enough, they changed it to sort of give Ariel more of a hero moment. And but overall, my feeling was, why? Why did you even do this? I think the only things good that might come from it is that it might bring Hailey Bailey to a wider audience, and I think she deserves to do more because she is really good in it. She does the best of what she's done, especially when Ariel loses her voice. When Ariel uses her voice, I think she's actually very, very good, because those scenes could have fallen flat on their face. And Sharon, if you've seen nothing of this film, I would like you to see they write a new song and they give Prince Eric, because Prince Eric never had a song in the original. They give Prince Eric his own solo. We know musicals. We like musicals. You know how there's a way to stage a musical or a musical number where there's just one person on screen.
Yeah.
The staging of Prince Eric's song is so lazy. It is so incredibly lazy. that it dips into parody. It straight up dips into parody. You're kind of like, oh, is that what you're gonna do? Oh, you're gonna run there. You're gonna run to a rock. Okay, now you're gonna run down the road. Now you're on a boat. And if you've ever seen The Lonely Island have a song with Michael Bolton, because Lonely Island do parody songs, and they have a song with Michael Bolton called Jack Sparrow, and there are shots in Prince Eric's number that seem to be taken straight from this number about Jack Sparrow, but seem to have forgotten that was a parody of lazily done musical numbers, and it's so lazy. It's oh my god! And I don't even remember the song. It's not like Beauty and the Beast when they gave the Beast the song Evermore. Remember, that song stayed with you when you left as you left the cinema. But it's
stayed with me.
Yeah. But anyway. Let me see.
They could have gone more Hans Christian Andersen if they'd wanted, which is thoroughly depressing.
You see, the thing is, they could have gone that way if they wanted to go for the realistic thing. Like, I still think that there is an interesting film to be made about the Lion King, where they make it like a David Attenborough documentary, where you have the story of the Lion King, but it's narrated by David Attenborough as him narrating the story, while you have all these photorealistic lions doing. Because the best thing about the Lion King was the effects and how they nailed lions to look real. And I think that would have been a much more interesting take on the live action thing. The difference being that, of course, it would not have made £1 billion, because there would have been no Be Prepared, or no Just Can't Wait to Be King, or no.
Well, I suppose you could just turn off all of the music that's there and then just stick David Attenborough over the top, saying why we don't know why these hyenas are doing this. This doesn't make any kind of sense.
Hyenas never do this. Hyenas and lions don't actually exist in the same player. You could do that. I mean, a David Attenborough commentary on the Lion King, I would love to see.
Yeah. There must be somebody who can do a good impression of him, who could do a voiceover of it.
There's loads of people out there who can do that.
It's my dream.
And there's just weird things, and I think the original film is about 89 minutes. This film is 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yes, and I think a lot of that is because they keep holding shots for a long time, and then it's almost like they go, this is not an interesting shot. What we're going to do? We're going to put a sweeping camera move into the shot. Yes. And it's like, no, it doesn't make it any more interesting. You're just wasting more time. So at most, I can give it a 3 out of 5. And they take the backing singers out of a whole bunch of the songs. Under the Sea the only people you hear Sebastian, you hear Ariel, and nobody else. And I'm like, why? Why do you do that? And there's this whole bit in the middle of Under the Sea where Sebastian's going like, the bass play, the cop, which in the original is brilliant and is fun, and this one is just kind of 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. I will stop now. They managed to save it towards the end. There is one new song. So I know I said I'll stop, but oh my god, there's one new song called Scuttlebutt, and it's a good song. It is obviously Lin-Manuel Miranda, if you get what I mean, because this song comes across like a song that was cut out of Hamilton. So it's a good song, but it sticks out like a sore thumb when compared to all the other songs in the thing. And you can be okay, this is where they let Lin-Manuel Miranda loose on this and said you can do what you want with that song. But yeah,
and he did what he always does, which is wonderful. But
it is wonderful.
Very identifiable as Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, and I wonder whether it's getting to the point where it's actually becoming too much. It's becoming a trope and it's becoming a bit of a parody. Because there's a musical with Lin-Manuel Miranda. Oh, there's going to be one song that's going to be rap sung. But yeah, it's anyway. 3 out of 5. Move on. Tosin, just stop talking. And now